Telecommuting, working from home, being a virtual worker, or being a teleworker. Whatever you choose to call it, it is definitely the wave of the future. The statistics prove it. But does it work for everyone? And can you stay focused if you're not in an office? Can employers maintain the same type of relationship with a team member who's not sitting nearby? Join us with some tips on how to embrace the future of the workplace is Mary Abbajay, principal at Careerstone Group. Mary, as always, you are right on topic for what so many small businesses struggle with, small and large on this one. You brought us lots of interesting statistics we're going to show on the screen about making a compelling case for why we should embrace teleworking. But you also are going to talk us through how managers and employees can be more successful at making it work. So let's start with the manager. Okay. Give us some tips for success.
Well, so for managers, and this is great for small businesses because it can really save you money, as you know, for office space. So if you're going to have a virtual workforce or a workforce that's going to be telecommuting, there's a couple things you need to do. First of all, you've got to be really clear on the policy and the expectations. Like really think through what is it going to look like, what are the policies around it, what are your expectations of the workers, and what kind of work is actually really conducive to the teleworking. So that's number one. Number two is you've got to learn how to manage by results. And this is very different than we're managing in person, where I'm going to manage you by your butt in that seat, you know, from 9 to 5. Now I've got to be really clear for you as a worker, because you work for me now, Rebecca, what results I'm looking for. And the third thing is you've got to really know your people, and you've got to know what the strengths are and what their weaknesses and what kind of support you can give them when they're teleworking.
Because your message is, and we're going to start showing some of these statistics, it is growing by leaps and bounds in popularity, and you have some facts to back up that it can increase your productivity, it can increase your bottom line, and you make a very compelling case that for a lot of employees, they'll take telecommuting over higher salary.
Yes, they will. And it really, the thing that surprises people is how much productivity is raised, especially in jobs that require creative thinking or like good thoughts. You know, like repetitive stuff doesn't really increase productivity, but if you want people to create things or be thoughtful, teleworking is going to increase their productivity.
Now, you and I were talking during the break. I say every day my job is telecommuting because reporters, we're on the field with our photographers, and there's that adrenaline rush of constantly shaking things up, not just sitting at a desk, but I have to constantly figure out, like, where am I going to go work? We like McDonald's. It has Wi-Fi. It has plugs. The plugs are up in the ceiling. Which ceiling plug can I actually reach if I stand on the chair at McDonald's? But there are some ways.
I love that you know that.
And I have to. It's a trick of the trade, and it's the only way we can get on the air. But usually you're going to be in your home office. And in your home office, I find there can be distractions. Oh my God, the laundry, all of these different things. Walk us through how an employee can be successful and productive.
Great. And there's a couple things you have to do. First of all, you have to have the right space. So you've got to carve out an appropriate workspace. You know, sitting on the couch isn't probably your best workspace, so make sure you have what you need. Make sure you have a landline if possible, because it has better reception. You have a place for your computer, the whole thing. And it's a space where you can remove distractions. Now, if you have children, teleworking is not a substitute for childcare. You know, you still have to carve out that time. The other thing that you want to do is make sure you keep a routine. Teleworking is not an excuse to stay, you know, to sleep in late because maybe gone on that. So you've got to keep a routine. You've got to be in keep the same office hours as your colleagues.
And as a freelance newspaper writer, I found that I could wait and get started at 10 o'clock in the morning. I could kind of putz around, have my coffee, work hard from 10 to 1, take an hour-long break, and get back and work hard for another 3 hours, and be way more productive, and really have only worked a 6-hour day.
Exactly, and you probably didn't have to, you know, get out of your pajamas, you know, and the last thing you want to do...
Some days I try.
The last thing you have to do is really be available. So if your boss calls you, make sure you call that person back, or if your colleagues are trying to reach you. So you've got to really stay plugged in. And most of all, you have to respect your personality. If you are an extrovert, like we know that you are, it probably isn't going to serve you well to telework alone in your house for more than a day or two in a week, because you will go crazy. And that's when you have to find out about the McDonald's and the Starbucks.
This is where I argue with the test. I still say I'm an introvert. Watch the ladies on The View. Let them do the talking for you. Mary Abbajay, thanks so much.